CTV News with Ricardo, Veneza.
Let's control what we can control. Not what Donald Trump dictates, but what we can control.
Premier Doug Ford is calling for Canada to hit back at Donald Trump's latest tariffs targeting Canadian exports. Good evening. The Prime Minister was back in Ottawa meeting with his cabinet and speaking with premiers about the Canada-U.S. relationship reset that's happening. As CTV's Mike LeCouture reports, leaders are working to get on the same page in their approach to the trade turmoil.
Prime Minister Carney, which counter-tariffs?
The Prime Minister was tight-lipped a day after saying he'd consider removing some counter-tariffs on American goods if it would help Canadian industries. While saying he supports Mark Carney, Ontario Premier Doug Ford has a different take.
You can't have tariffs on one side and not the other. I still stand by what I say. Dollar for dollar, tariff for tariff. They understand strength, not weakness.
He was planning to deliver that message this afternoon as the premiers held a virtual meeting with the Prime Minister. And once it ended, Ford's message to Canadians is to buckle up for a rough road ahead.
I'm praying that everything's going to go fine. But if it doesn't, I got to ask the people, do you trust President Trump? I don't.
In recent days, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe has called for Canada to remove or reduce counter-tariffs on all American goods. Some feel like the countrywide resolve is being tested.
As this has dragged on with no obvious resolution in sight, some of that determination is flagging a bit.
In an interview with CTV News on Tuesday, the U.S. ambassador to Canada cautioned that trade talks could be slow over the next weeks as U.S. President Donald Trump focuses on a deal with China. And that's why some trade experts believe Canada should refrain from retaliating.
I do think we have to hold something like a retaliation as a threat in case Trump does decide to hit us with something else.
And one example of that unpredictability, President Trump announced an additional 25% tariffs on goods from India because that country is importing Russian oil. India's tariff rate could rise to 50%. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Premier also detailed his vision for the 401 tunnel mega project today. It's a plan without a feasibility study or an official cost estimate from his government. Ford says the 50-kilometer tunnel will get built, making it the largest tunnel in the world. He is committed to the plan some experts say could cost more than $100 billion. The Premier is convinced the project will help clear gridlock on the 401, especially in the Greater Toronto area. Ford says the tunnel will include levels for west and eastbound traffic as well as for transit.
Tunnel, 3 levels, and it's going to serve the people for decades to come. You know, I'll be pushing up tulips by the time everyone's riding this full steam. So it's a vision, and it works, and it's going to help our economy.
Now, tensions between Canada and the U.S. don't end with trade. A Michigan congressman is calling on Canadian leaders to do more to address wildfire smoke blowing into the mitten. Republican John James wrote to Prime Minister Mark Carney asking leaders in our country to take action to contain the wildfire crisis. James specifically cited the smoke from Manitoba's wildfires, saying it's threatening the health of his constituents and millions of other Americans. He added Canadian sovereignty comes with responsibility and, quote, Canadians should not be surprised if American leaders begin treating Canadian sovereignty concerns with the same seriousness Canadian leaders show toward American security and health concerns. Manitoba Premier Rob Canoe responded.
Who can't get any attention on his own, so he's got to go in public and throw a timber tantrum, as we're calling it around here. So on the one hand, try not to take it too seriously, but on the other hand, let's be realistic. Tens of thousands of people have been forced out of their homes. Lives have been lost. Huge impacts here. This is not the kind of thing you should be playing around with.
Now, CTV News has contacted Representative James's office for comment, but has not received a response. The trade tensions don't appear to be slowing down a major auto sector project in southwestern Ontario. Volkswagen subsidiary PowerCo Canada says it's ramping up hiring for its $7 billion plant in St. Thomas. CTV's Sean Irvin reports.
For the first time, we're hearing directly from Volkswagen about the number of jobs it will create when it opens its massive PowerCo battery plant in St. Thomas.
So I think the answer at the moment is thousands of jobs.
When announced in 2023, PowerCo was predicted to employ 3,000 people and create thousands of spin-off jobs. With initial site infrastructure nearing completion, the groundbreaking for Phase 1 is only weeks away. But just how fast the plant will expand and the size of its workforce is not known, with the unpredictability of U.S. tariffs and ongoing trade discussions.
We are monitoring the trade topic very closely, but for the next couple of years, our message is full steam ahead, because that's what we really want to achieve, is start production here in St. Thomas.
In the coming weeks, the company will launch a new jobs website for frontline workers. Initial hires will be trained at a purpose-built local training facility.
So the big wave would start next year, and then you would see that growing into the years to come.
A large skilled workforce was a major reason Southwestern Ontario was selected for the massive PowerCo facility.
Important is that we get the right workforce here. We think this is the case.
PowerCo has already hired more than 200 people. All are said to be looking forward to the groundbreaking ceremony.
Foundations is the next focus for our first production building, and then the other big milestone this year is steel construction.
Once the initial phase is complete, production will begin.
Whether it's mid-year or the third quarter, I can't tell you, but we definitely aim for sooner rather than later in 2027.
Sean Irvin, CTV News.
In East Windsor today, officials held a groundbreaking for the new Lausanne Plaza. The ceremony brought officials from as far away as China. The project will add a new commercial development on Lausanne Road. The plan would see a new grocery store built, as well as a new location for an Average Joe's. Officials say this is a three-phase project that will add more retail and medical space, as well as an increase in residential opportunities. Hotels in Windsor-Essex are joining the effort to combat human trafficking through a new training initiative aiming to identify the potential signs someone is being trafficked. CTV's Robert Lothian brings us a look at the Not in Our Hotel program.
We're proud to stand up and say, not in our hotel, not in our city.
That message from hotel operators to human traffickers. Leamington Quality Inn General Manager Dharmesh Patel says it's one being shared across the country.
Hotels do play a part in this because that accommodation part, it's a huge part in this.
Provincial hotel associations are introducing the Not in Our Hotel initiative. The program offers free training to help staff identify warning signs, recognize potential risks, and take the proper steps to report them.
So this free training empowers every team member, from front desk to housekeeping, to know what to look for and how to respond safely.
Patel says 75% of human trafficking victims are funneled through hotels.
When we talk about motels or hotels, for sure, it's a place where sex trafficking is occurring.
As an anti-human trafficking project coordinator, Taylor Vetero says there's more room for hotels to work with frontline organizations like his.
Able to do consultation with hotel employees, or even be part of the intervention strategy when we talk about providing interventions to people who are in hotels.
Human trafficking can include sex or labor trafficking. In 2023, Statistics Canada reported 570 trafficking incidents reported to police across the nation. In Windsor, the crime is often believed to be more prevalent than in other regions.
The 401 is a big piece, you know, like having the ability to go up and down the 401 and stop at various cities along the way and end up in a place like Windsor.
They cross the border, or they've got clients that come across the border. So Windsor just makes it easier because obviously with a casino and things like that, you've got a lot of transient traffic coming through.
For hotels across Windsor-Essex, Patel says the plan is to start rolling out the training in the coming weeks.
Even if we save one victim by doing this, then it's been beneficial.
Robert Lothian, CTV News.
An American man is out of jail and has been deported after being sentenced in a case of intimate partner violence in Windsor. CTV's Michelle Molesky reports on the 24-year-old man who pleaded guilty to choking and dangerous driving causing bodily harm.
Justice Kelly Gorman sentenced Shamir Colston Hawkins Wednesday morning. Make no mistake, what he did was despicable, the judge said, but he has accepted responsibility for his actions. In pleading guilty to choking and dangerous driving causing bodily harm, Colston Hawkins admitted to hitting a Lakeshore woman with his car 4 hours after choking her. The events have deeply and permanently altered her well-being, Justice Gorman said, noting the victim described ongoing trauma, including anxiety, fear, and emotional instability. Court learned the woman suffers from post-traumatic concussion syndrome and migraines. Colston Hawkins is from Philadelphia and was visiting Canada for a second date with the woman. They got into an argument when she wouldn't let him search her phone. Colston Hawkins turned himself into police outside of Windsor Regional Hospital a few hours after abandoning the woman on the sidewalk. He's been incarcerated ever since. That was December 23, 2023. Today, Justice Gorman sentenced him to 18 months for the dangerous driving and 30 days for choking, to be served concurrently. However, because he has been in custody for the equivalent of 28 months, Colston Hawkins has more than served his punishment, and he was released Wednesday. He is on probation in Ontario for 3 years and has been ordered not to return to Canada. The judge cannot sentence him to probation in the United States. His lawyer, Evan Weber, believes Colston Hawkins will be turned over to either immigration officials or border officers to begin the process of deportation today. Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
Hotel de Grace Healthcare has announced its mental health response units will make a big shift to better respond to crises. The specialty hospital says its mobile units will transition into the Essex County Mobile Crisis Rapid Response Team. Both teams are made up of police and social workers, but officials say this new approach will allow for response to live crisis calls, meeting people where they're at, expanding and enhancing service. Teams are set up for both adult and youth interventions. The hospital says current clients shouldn't notice any significant impact on their care. Meantime, Pathway to Potential is launching what it calls the Neighborhoods program. The Poverty Reduction Agency says the aim is to build stronger, more resilient communities in areas facing economic challenges. The program promises to bring together community and organizational supports with neighborhood leads appointed in 3 priority areas. Those are the West End and in downtown, both on the east side and the west side of the city core. In Wheatley, the library is set to reopen this week after being closed since June 26th due to a gas leak investigation. Officials say the old water well next to the library, believed to be at the center of the gas concern, has been successfully plugged. There was never any gas detected inside the library, but the building was closed as a precaution. The library is set to get back to normal hours as of Saturday. Officials say routine monitoring will continue. Elsewhere, public health officials report West Nile virus has been detected in Chatham-Kent mosquitoes. The insects were collected July 30th in Ridgetown and southeast Chatham, returning the first West Nile positive pools of the season. The viral symptoms are typically mild but can become more severe and include paralysis. Officials recommend wearing long-sleeve clothing, using DEET insect repellent, and eliminating standing water in order to best protect yourself from the bites. Those little buggers will get you. Well, after the break, Gary Archibald joins us for a look at the sunny weather we have coming our way and how much more haze we have to deal with.
We want to make sure we get this right. It's important for the taxpayers, it's important for the fire department, it's important for the community.
Still ahead, our Stephanie Mazzotti looks at what's behind the delayed opening of Amherstburg's new fire hall. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joining us now for a check of the forecast. Gary, a little hazy, a little hot out there?
Yes, and a continuation likely for tomorrow afternoon. Good evening, folks. Once again, talking about temperatures still being seasonal, close to about 28 to 30 degrees Celsius, although our average is dipping a little bit every day. As we head towards the end of the month, we will be down to average highs closer to about 24 degrees Celsius. Yes, we've reached the hump for the summer season of 2025. 29 today, felt like about 33 to 35 within the city limits. Chatham-Kent, a similar forecast today. It was sunny, it was warm, and a bit humid. Obviously hazy too because of the wildfire smoke, and we saw some daytime heating. Textbook situation, atmospherically warm air rising and becoming the thunderstorms we saw in southeastern Michigan. They stayed put. there really wasn't any flow involved pushing it further into southern Ontario, but there's a chance of our own daytime heating events taking place tomorrow. Warm enough with some moisture at the surface to rise and condense into clouds that could produce active weather in the form of rain showers and maybe even some thunderstorm activity. If we do see it, it will be sporadic. And some areas will not see much of anything except the high heat and humidity. So it's going to be a warm day. Could feel like 36 to 38 across parts of southwestern Ontario. So rain's really not much of a factor unless you're traveling to Detroit, Michigan and the surrounds in the southeastern part of the state. Overnight temperatures under partly cloudy conditions, still looking at about 20, feeling like about 26 to 27. So it's warm through the overnight, technically tomorrow morning before dawn. And again, the local smoke factor, the pollutants that are in the air because of the wildfires, is a lingering issue for tomorrow yet again. Tomorrow, it's warm to start. Already feels like 28 at 8 a.m., feels like 32 at noon. It'll be sunny through the early afternoon and about a 30 to 40% chance of seeing some showers and or thunderstorm activity for Thursday at around 4 p.m. onward towards supper time. Fairer weather for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. The average temperature around 30.5 degrees Celsius. And then we'll see a bit of a cooling off, down at 29, followed by 27 Tuesday and Wednesday with some scattered showers and maybe even some light thunderstorm activity possible. Let's look at your 7-day forecast.
Okay, Gary, thank you for that. Well, the Windsor-Essex County Association of Realtors monthly statistics show more homes sold in July, but the average sale price dipped. New listings in July were up 1.8% compared to the same time last year. That's how properties sold also climbing by nearly 3.5%, just shy there, over July 2024. Now, the average sale price for this month, though, fell 1.6% to roughly $592,000. Not too shabby for this area. While analysts expect economic uncertainty has had a role in the real estate slowdown, the same appears to be true for the retail sector. Claire's is filing for bankruptcy protection in the U.S., and Canadian filings are expected soon. Stores across North America will remain open during the process. The chain's CEO blames increased competition, spending trends, and a shift away from brick-and-mortar retail. Claire's also imports much of its goods from countries which the Trump administration has hit with tariffs. Well, a good day for Canada's main stock index. As you can see there, up 351 points as investors cheered Shopify's quarterly results, doing well there. The Dow also up 81 points after a down day yesterday, while the Nasdaq climbs 253 points. The Canadian dollar also up today to rest at 72.75 cents U.S. Gold slipping by a little more than a loonie, and oil down 81 cents a barrel.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
There looks to be significant turbulence ahead for thousands of Air Canada passengers if the airline can't negotiate a new contract with its flight attendants in the next 10 days. As we told you last night, the union secured near unanimous support to strike should a deal not be reached by then. As CTV's Judy Trin reports, there are issues on the table that have festered now for a decade.
Mike Abraham has booked a flight to Slovenia for a bike tour. He's scheduled to take off just as Air Canada's flight attendants are poised to strike.
Even if I was to actually try to rebook it now with either with Air Canada or with a competitor, say a European airline, the price would be at least 3 times as much.
Air Canada's 10-year contract with its 10,000 flight attendants is expiring. The union representing the workers says better wages and working conditions are needed. Flight attendants average 35 hours of unpaid work each month.
We're not paid anytime the aircraft is not in motion. So any of the pre-flight checks, mandatory safety briefings, all the required stuff that is done on the ground prior to pushback, as well as the deplaning process.
The workers are getting support from the Conservatives, urging the government to amend the labor code to ensure flight attendants are paid for every minute they're required to be at work from check-in to sign-off. Last year, Air Canada generated operating revenues of more than $22 billion. Thousands of passengers could be impacted if a deal is not reached by August 16th.
This will be a test for the Carney government to see whether they have the intestinal fortitude to let labor relations work its way through this process.
Even though Abraham has been planning his trip for months, he doesn't support government intervention, but does support fair wages for workers.
Being paid for your hours on the job, that I think is a no-brainer. I can't possibly understand why a company wouldn't do that.
In a previous statement, Air Canada said it was committed to reaching a fair and equitable contract with its flight attendants. Both sides returned to the bargaining table on Friday. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Now, for those who lean on Aeroplan rewards, get ready for a big change beginning next year. That's when points will be earned based on dollars spent and not the flight's distance. CTV's Pat Foran reports on the impact for members.
Starting on January 1st, Aeroplan will overhaul the way its members earn points, and the biggest change means you'll earn based on how much you spend instead of how far you go. Phil McCulley is a frequent flyer and has been an Aeroplan member for the past 20 years. He's concerned business travelers buying more expensive tickets will see the greatest benefits.
But it absolutely benefits people who travel on the max fare class. So people who fly business everywhere are disproportionately benefiting from this program than people who travel, let's say, like a lower fare class.
The majority of our members are going to be better off than they were before.
Air Canada says the changes to the loyalty program will benefit those who engage with the airline and its partners the most. Starting in the new year, you'll earn 1 Aeroplan point per dollar spent. In 2 examples on Air Canada's website, it states if you book a flight between Toronto and Montreal with a base fare of $427, you'll earn 427 Aeroplan points. In another example, if you booked a round trip from Montreal to Paris and the base fare is $1,500, under the current plan you would receive almost 7,000 points, but under the new plan you'll receive 1,500 Aeroplan points. The more you pay, the more points you'll get.
It can't be seen as a positive, but it can't be seen as negative either. It really comes down to the individual, whether these changes are good for you or not.
Rewards Canada, a website that studies loyalty programs, says those who pay more for expensive flights will achieve elite status faster and rack up more points than those who are searching for bargains.
The more you spend with the airline, the more you're going to be rewarded, whether it's elite status or with points earning as well.
The changes are also more in line with other airlines that have also moved to revenue-based models. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Pure Country 89, Windsor's country music station. Pure access to the biggest stars and the hottest songs. Download the free iHeartRadio app to listen to Pure Country everywhere.
Construction of Amherstburg's new fire hall isn't going as planned. That's according to the department's chief. CTV's Stephanie Mazzotti looks at why the opening has been delayed now.
Construction continues near the Libro Center on Amherstburg's estimated $11.3 million fire hall.
We want to make sure we get this right. It's important for the taxpayers, it's important for the fire department, it's important for the community.
Opening day was previously scheduled for next month, but it has now been postponed to March of 2026.
We've had some issues with weather over the winter. We lost a lot of days and key days. So there were some construction issues with the footings, as we talked about earlier. And to get those corrected takes time for engineering to have reports put in, solutions in place, and get those corrections done.
Fire Chief Michael Mio tells CTV News structural deficiencies need to be addressed immediately.
So like any construction project, if you're building a house, if you have problems at the base, it just continues throughout the project. So we want to make sure we have the base taken care of.
Mio says the budget won't change despite the unexpected delays, and construction continues to move forward.
We're in the midst of finishing the footings and getting walls poured, and then waiting for structural steel to be fabricated and to arrive on site.
He goes on to say tariffs imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump is affecting all aspects of the industry, including the purchase of a $3.1 million fire truck, which has a 3-year build time and is still not ready.
There's severe labor issues. There's material availability issues. We're still having trouble procuring boots. There's still delays in even the simplest things that we're trying to purchase.
Mio says once it's done, it will be an essential addition to the town.
It'll house the 4 fire trucks that we're going to have there, 4 double bays. It'll have our emergency operations center. It'll have where the fire hall actually live and work. And then administration will be there. So we're bringing fire prevention, training, and administration all under one roof.
Stephanie Mazzotti, CTV News.
Okay, Gary is back with a wrap of a 7-day forecast. Gary, we're in for some hot weather, a nice little stretch here, but not quite a heat wave.
That's right. And with temperatures at around 30, 31 degrees Celsius as we look towards Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe even Monday, the humidity factor, that will make it feel like about 35 plus. Tomorrow, hazy to start, sunny through the afternoon. Air quality still not great, but we've seen worse. High of 29 feels like about 36 at peak time, close to about 4:35 p.m. Fair weather, mixture of sun and cloud, that's the story. Friday through to Monday, and the average temperature between 30 and 31 between Windsor, Essex, and Chatham-Kent. Monday still warm, then cooling off Tuesday, Wednesday, 29, then 27, cloudier and rainier. That's how things are shaping up a week from now. Enjoy the sunshine. Don't forget your sunscreen. Good night.
Okay, Gary, yeah, good reminder. Maybe not technically a heat wave, but still a very, very hot stretch on the way. That is our time tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. We'll see you again tomorrow at 6. Until then, I'm Ricardo, Veneza, and for everyone here at CTV on both sides of the camera, have a great night.